How are you guys doing?
Yeah! Good.
We're all a year older than we were at the start of this. The ravages of time. Yay!
Yeah, thanks a lot. It's great.
It's nice to see you both.
I feel really tired today.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Are we ready for a holiday? Are we ready for the festive season?
Does feel like it's working towards shutdown time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So right now it's middle of December, and we are recording the final episode of We the Poets
Season 1.
Season 1.
Yeah, baby.
We have some big news. We know this is definitely Season 1 because there's going to be a Season 2.
Yay! Come on.
We've received Arts Council England funding for a second season. Thank you so much to everybody who's been listening, who sent us feedback. We're really pleased that people are finding this series useful, and it's been kind of cool getting messages from people all around the world as well who've been listening to us. Have you guys enjoyed this series? Have you got much out of it?
1,000,000%, yes.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It's rekindled my love of writing that isn't just related to, I guess, either survival mode or paying the bills, but writing for the love of writing again. I've kept up with my writing a single poem after every episode. And challenges like that I set myself, I always bomb within like the first month.
That's so impressive. That's so
really
good.
Nice, really nice to just, be inspired by people again.
So I can definitely back that up, because I only said to you last week, that I've noticed that you are writing for yourself again and doing things for yourself again, and turning stuff down that you don't have to do or don't want to do, and I think that's amazing that you are doing that again. If this has helped that, then that's awesome.
And also taking tools from like the performance conversations as well as the writing conversations. Like I did my first punk gig last month.
Oh, yeah.
And it was a bunch of punks that were there for music. They weren't there for a little poet at the start, and it was a bit of an experiment. But I made 3/4 of the room silent in a good way. And I don't think I'd have been able to do that if not for the likes of listening to Selena and listening to Harry and listening to Jess. So, it was wicked.
That's cool.
I would say for me, it's reminded me that actually I am a poet and I can do poetry. This series has given me a little bit of confidence. But like I said, just reminded me who I am a little bit and that I can do things like this.
Yeah, you can.
And also, it's just been so great just chatting to people. And I felt like we've been giving people really great tips and insider knowledge, I think, insider information, which is really exciting.
Yeah, I think Jess Green's, how to write for TV was really, really useful. Harry Baker's how to put together a tour was fantastic. I listened to the episode with Ross Sutherland the other day again, just because I think it's just really fun listening to him explain, putting together the opera, but also what it was like coming through on the alternative comedy circuit back in the day. I've got loads out of this. So, welcome back. This is myself, Mark Grist. We've got Charley Genever
Whoop, whoop.
and Keely Mills.
Oh, hello.
And we are going to be sharing X-rated poetry.
I don't know. Charley hasn't got anything X-rated.
I'm completely virginal, completely modest,
It's really
completely
T.S.
demure.
So
I'm going to plug my ears for this whole episode.
So we've had, we thought about having an episode at the end where we could just share things that have been sent in, because we don't have enough time to share everything that comes into the inbox. And there's been loads of stuff that's come through this year. But we then started thinking about being like an X-rated episode, because our very first guest of the series, Selena Godden, she shared a poem with us from her collection with Love, Hope and Glory that we loved, and we wanted to record her sharing it, but we joked at the time there's no way we could really put it out unless we really had a whole focus on it being X-rated. So maybe if we start with that piece.
Yeah, start where it all began.
So this is Selena Godden in conversation with us. And before you go any further, just so we've made it really clear, from this point on, there's going to be some explicit language. From this
naughty
point,
themes.
yeah, from this point on, there's going to be some explicit language, and we really, really hope you enjoy what you listen to. But you're choosing to carry on with it.
It's your
If you get in trouble.
Okay, guys, the best way to describe this episode is when you found a porno mag in the back of a bush and you start sharing it with all your mates. That's the whole, I feel.
Yeah, I think that's a good vibe.
That's a good vibe for
I
this
found a DVD
episode.
on the side of a road once.
Anyway. And we all rush out and get a DVD player.
So if you're ready for some X-rated content, let's go straight to Selena.
Selenophilia. How I would like to fuck the moon. Hot moon.
Just only said fuck.
I know, just watching you. Okay. Selenophilia. How I would like to fuck the moon. Hot moon rocks nudging skin. Sway gently on her moony face. Get wet and wide and slide her in. How I would like to fuck the moon. Push the moon juice deep in south, in and out and hard and round, until moonlight pours out of my mouth. How I would like to fuck the moon. Full and whole and bright is she, riding on the moon all night, from black hole to infinity. How I would like to fuck the moon, gently tease and ease her in, feel the moon full and whole, burning dreams of her within. How I would like to fuck the moon, taste her wine and milky breast, lick her salt and suck her clit all night long without a rest. Vibrating on the moonshine face, squirting into stars and space. I'd kiss her, eat her outer space. How I would like to fuck the moon.
Come on!
That's a poem about the eclipse, by the way. Written by the sun.
So good.
Oh, it's amazing.
I love it so much.
Oh, there we go. Welcome back. I think it's ruder the second time around.
Yeah, even more enjoyable second time around.
I enjoyed it in person, though. It was good in person as well.
It was tricky not to laugh as we were all...
Yeah, that was another,
Yes.
like in Joshua's episode, I had to put a scarf in my mouth to stop myself from reacting.
Yeah, I'll do an AF Harold. Right now I am smiling into the microphone.
And I have no scarf today, so I don't know how that's going to go.
Well, we said we would each share an X-rated poem as well. So I think I'm down to go first.
Yeah, baby.
So I've got a poem that I have taken down from YouTube like a while ago. Yeah, I did.
Why?
What?
So I visit a lot of places and a lot of schools, and I whilst visiting one school, I was advised to take this one video down in case parents saw it.
Oh, okay.
Because some places that you travel to, they might not be okay with this content. So I wrote this poem a while ago because I feel sometimes that within the academic world of poetry particularly, there's a lot of people who want to tell you what you are not allowed to do with a poem, or saying like, this doesn't get to be a poem, this isn't right, and stuff like that. And I felt that particularly when spoken word was really kind of thriving, when K Tempest was first coming through and stuff, there seemed like there were a lot of shots being fired from the academic establishment of poetry towards this new stuff. And it happens all the time with, people firing shots at Instagram poets or whatever. This idea that this other way of writing poetry is not allowed, or it's not valid in some way. And it always seems to be these shots are fired from the more kind of traditional academic workshop model kind of thing. I had also heard about quite a prominent poet in London who had given like an hour-long lecture in how K Tempest's work will not be remembered in 100 years' time. And so I wrote this poem. Now, in the poem, there's only one swear word, but I say it a lot. It's the F word. So I'm gonna deliver it, and we may well have this bleeped because this does not exist anywhere else now, but only on this podcast episode.
I like
That'll
it.
be the only place it exists, and people. So it's kind of hidden. But if you want to hear it, it's called "It's Still a Fucking Poem." If it talks of things you don't believe in, it's still a fucking poem. If the meter isn't even, it's still a fucking poem. If it isn't all that intricate, it's still a fucking poem. If you don't feel all that into it, it's still a fucking poem. If it's popular, too jocular, if the rhyme scheme gets on top of you, if the metaphors are propping up an argument that's sloppy, if it's written by some children, it's still a fucking poem. Graffiti to a building, still a fucking poem. If it's scribbled at a workshop, it's still a fucking poem, or by someone you've not heard of, then it's still a fucking poem. If it won all the awards, if it left you feeling bored, if it's half as good as yours, it's still a fucking poem. If it isn't quite a question, isn't quite an argument, isn't all that liberal, it's not attacking Parliament, if the heading has a footnote, if the ending sort of spirals out, if the will not be remembered by the world 100 years from now, it's still a fucking poem, right? Still a fucking poem. It's still as much a poem as any piece you know of, and it's not how you would write it, but it's still a fucking poem. And you don't think that you like it, but it's still a fucking poem, and you can cry that it's appalling, but it's still a fucking poem, and you aren't that important, right? You're not a fucking poem. You're just a fucking poet stuffed with too much guff from poems. Just leave it to the rest of us, or go and write a poem. Cool.
Yeah!
I've seen, when you've performed that live, I've seen other writers or other people in the room kind of vibe off that, because it is, whatever they're writing, it is still a fucking poem. And like, I have to say that a lot to people, like, yeah, that's a poem, because they have an expectation of what they think a poem is. So, and I've seen people vibe off that. And
Yeah. The funny thing is I can't perform it in schools. I've thought about rewriting it as I still think it's a poem, so I can perform it for kids.
It's the rhythm, I guess.
But I like, you might not like that it's swearing as much as it is, but that's part of the thing anyway as well. I wasn't sure if it would work having a line repeated, like every other line is the same line, which felt really bonkers when I wrote it. You know, like literally every other line is exactly the same line. Do you know what? Sometimes I've written poems and you have some repeated lines in there, and the repeated line starts to feel a bit stuffy, or it starts to feel like it's kind of going. But it never feels like that with that poem. Like I just feel like I got lucky and found like a line that it just that was happy to stay in there, and it doesn't feel dry and played out as it's going on. But yeah, I've enjoyed performing it. I do find it funny that it doesn't exist anywhere online anymore. But it'll come back when I retire. That'll be the first thing I do. I'll be like, I'll relist the video of me.
So we're calling out to our listeners to do a petition to Mark to get that poem back up on YouTube. Just saying, if you send it to, no, I'm only joking, but that's a shame, you know. That's a shame.
It is and it isn't. I mean, I make picture books now with Bloomsbury, and I travel around a lot to schools. If I want to try and like help kids, it's not helpful to have stuff out there that means that I could have obstacles to me, like working with kids. So
fair enough.
So it is what it is. But I mean,
OnlyFans.
My OnlyFans.
Mark's OnlyFans.
I tell you what though, I performed that at Shambhala this year. It was so nice smashing it. I love performing as the final piece in a gig. It's a really good way to finish it. But for now, shall we put on another?
Yeah.
Shall we play another submission?
Yeah.
So I'm excited about this.
How do you introduce this?
A series of 3 poems called Baby Poems 1 to 3. They were sent in by Joanna Henry, who lives in Fletton, right, in Peterborough.
Yeah.
So super close to home.
I met them for the first time at the punk gig. I've not heard their work yet, so I'm super excited.
This is perfectly on theme, being X-rated straight out of the gate. These pieces definitely fit into our X-rated theme for today. This is Joanna Henry with her baby poems.
Christmas will be shit until I have babies. 11 babies in matching hats and knitted booties. I'll grow 9 boobs to feed my brood. They'll cry and shift, so I'll not sleep ever, but worth it for the company. birth your friends by sperm donors and one-night stands, the least responsible but most feasible option. They'll not cradle my blundering self until I'm 70 and then resent me probably. They'd fill most of the class with their little selves, tiny hands with mucky fingers, and on school holidays we'd play with pipe cleaners and paint, and they'd ask me who their daddies are, and I'd not answer, but feed them fish fingers. My babies will shit into my hands and I will clean them to reduce the water used on laundry and limit plastic waste. There'll not be TBTs or VOCs near my golden babies. I'll have brown fingernails until they're 2, constantly clasped around small bums. Sometimes the piss will drip between my fingers down my sleeves, but I'll have constant skin to skin. They'll be the hydrogens to my oxygen, shared electrons, covalent bond. My babies will never leave my arms. I'll have 11 babies and knit them Christmas stockings and mittens and sleep suits, 100% Aran wool all year round, even for the swimming pool, my sweaty, knitted babies. I'll feed them a paleo diet, hide their dinner in the garden for them to forage for, baked potato under the trampoline, sausage and mash in the sandpit, and homeschool them a baby-led learning, and they'll lead each other through secret painting and cake baking calamity, our football team family.
Thank you so much to Joanna Henry for those
Wow.
pieces. That was ace.
Do you know what I love? I love it when a really not suitable for work poem has the most vague title, really plain, simple title that then goes really hard with its opening line.
Charlie, I think it's your turn, isn't it?
Yeah, all right then, I'll share something. Most of my work is probably not suitable for work, but I thought I'd do this one, which I've only performed once so far. I did make a cut-up music video for it, I guess, where I individually cut out 13,000 letters and then did a stop-motion video of this poem. And it's inspired by both Selena's poem, but then also, do either of you know Bloodhound Gang's Foxtrot Uniform Charlie Kilo?
I think I've heard it, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
It's a song that's essentially full of innuendos and euphemisms, all about sex, but it's very hetero and very straight.
Yeah.
So I wrote my own slightly more queer version called Papa Lima Alpha Yankee. And yeah, it's just ludicrous. You'll see. Papa Lima Alpha Yankee after Bloodhound Gang. Let's start slow. Decorate my bouncy globe with your squelch taco. I want to touch your magma flow. I want to touch the tip of your velvet xylophone. Make you Orlando pre-bloom. Unfurl our weeping tulips, our fragrant chips, and I'll speed up. Baste your Brussels sprout. Call me recumbent titivator. Go down on your toga viralis. I want to hear your exhaust splutter. I want to hear plopping droplets in your gutter. Excavate my dino bone with our dulcet tones. Do you want to put my sparkling wordplay inside you? Would you like to irrigate my origami trumpet? Taint my southern squash. Please, please attend to my plump toaster. My sumptuous subpoena, assemble my IKEA flat pack. I want to taste your fourth eye. I want to taste your chunky surprise. Vaporize my wizard veins with your clump muffin. Venerate my tender tightrope until I can't stand. Let's undulate, pollinate, discombobulate my face with your red threshold, and then we'll be close. You'll microwave my pot noodle. I'm begging you, do that thing you do where you suckle my land of nods, play Metapod, super move my Ichabod, my winged cod, call me your moist throb. I want to smell your muddy truffle. I want to smell your festering ruffles, and we're not done. Tease it out, make it last. Outline my lupine swell with your lucid pumping. Stimulate my mashed potato, my rough puff Play-Doh, call me haunter, hoarder, ruler, power. I want to taste your pert platoon. I want to see your pert platoon. I want to see your furry pelt. I want to see your beetroot base as you're my melts.
That was wicked.
I don't know whether to be shocked or turned on. I'm not really sure. A bit of both.
Yeah, my brain is so sordid and I hear the most unsexy words and there's just an element of the sound of them and I'm like, that's a bit sexy. So I tried to put it all together in one.
That was cool. I liked it a lot.
Our staff meetings, I'm going to feel a lot different now when we're in our team meetings working together.
That was wicked. I love that. Thank you so much, Charley, for that. That was amazing. Okay, well, let's have another piece that's been sent in. It's good sometimes, isn't it, to just kind of enjoy, like, rude language. Rude. Yeah, I've got one a bit weird there.
I like the way you did that. It's great.
Rude. Anyone listening right now, I'm really sorry. I'm quite tired. I've lost all filter.
Perfect timing.
But don't you think it's really nice sometimes to just like listen to some stuff that's a bit cheeky?
Yeah.
Or that's kind of like a bit more experimental?
This to me is a bit more like an open mic night. As in, sometimes you'll get some really amazing, really heartfelt, emotional poems, and then sometimes you'll just get something really dirty and rude, and you're like, there's a little part of you that's like,
Well, funny you should say that, because we now have a piece that got sent in, and Charley, you're partly responsible for this.
Yes, it is partly my fault, because Bill attended my cheeky poetry workshop that I ran for We the Poets, and they wrote this amazing piece off the back of it that you're going to hear now. And we had a really great conversation in that workshop group, I guess, about poetry being a way to communicate things that you can't in any other type of language or in any other way. It has to be in a poem. Writing sordid, censored, explicit poems has always been my way to help me figure stuff out and say things that I don't have any other way to say. So that's kind of how we approached the workshop, and I just shared some of my favourite sordid, filthy poems for different reasons and the why. And then off the back of that conversation and being vulnerable and how you can be explicit, but you can also be vulnerable at the same time. Led Bill to creating this amazing piece.
Yeah, Bill, thank you so much for sending it in. Let's strap in, prepare yourselves. This is Bill's piece.
I fire my load into a plastic pot. After 30 years of practice, this one means a lot. The clinician, with precision and an incision, has caused a permanent division of my pipes. I should not be fully functioning. My milk should now be fully skimmed, not life-containing. I rocket up the motorway with my salty jus. I pass it over the counter at the very time it's due. I wait for the verdict, thinking sexy thoughts of you. We can plant my seed without concern because it just won't grow. We can jump in bed without a sheath because the tadpoles are all dead. I ask myself, does this bother me? Losing this capability? What does it take to be a man? Does your can need to be full of spam? Can you be a fully skimmed milk man?
Thank you so much, Bill,
Right.
for that piece.
I think it was interesting to hear it from a male perspective, that particular subject.
Thank you so much,
Amazing.
Bill. Keely, I think it's your turn.
I know, and I felt very intimidated because your pieces were incredible. So I've dug this out of my folder. I wrote it back in 2012. That fantastically creative year, 2012. Do you remember, before David Bowie died? I wrote this, I suppose, for my partner. And yeah, it's on a different slant. I think it's got some X-rated stuff in, but probably none at all. And I don't think I've ever performed it.
Really?
No.
Exclusive.
That's cool.
So are we going to give it a go? And because this will be the first time I've read it out, probably as well.
Yeah, I think so.
Should we do it?
Yeah, I think it sounds great.
Do it.
Yeah.
Okay, I've just had a coffee and a gingerbread man, so I'm anybody's, is what I'm saying. It's called Love is an Unfinished Poem, and I'd like to dedicate it to my husband. Love is not a Barbara Cartland novel with laced-up heroines or pure and vaginal, nor perfect pitched heroes rippling with pronounced T's and ruffled egos. It's not written by an ageing dame eating custard creams, surrounded by pink pampered pooches in a digest reader's wet dream. It is not completed in a matter of days, illustrated in watercolours, cross-referenced in the romance section, only to be read on the bus to work and package holidays. Love is you. And you're not minding when I forget to shave my legs or armpits, when there is more bush than knot cuts around my lusty bits. Love is still finding me fit, even when I have last night's pot noodle on my morning breath, a spicy, mighty curry hit. Love is you. Finding, then excavating my teeth of oregano or other offending items that lay between. Our love is the way you always wipe away my leftover mascara with a licked index digit. How you always know when I'm bored in the way I fidget. Love is not Valentine's Day full of teddy bears. It's not deranged toys made in China. Holding Be Mine with hollow button stares. Love is not cards covered in glitter, hearts and kittens in ribbons. These don't make hearts flip out and flitter. Love is not expensive meals in crowded restaurants when the air is filled with expectations or loved-up consumer wants. It's not a diamond ring from Argos or a public marriage proposal on a football pitch. Nah, that's not passion's ignition switch. Love is you. And the way you beat back my rants and raves without breaking a sweat. It's only your kisses that make me behave and offset. Each needling point I pin to you, it's like water off a duck's back. By the time I've slammed the door, walked an inch down the path, my mind is like a homing pigeon with only one map. Love is you, under our bed sheets, tired from your madcap dancing. That's a mating call that enthralls me like no others in the animal kingdom. Hungover from the night before, your drunken mumblings are more desirable than odes by Shelley and Keats. Love is maybe what we make it in its many different forms, not a set of rules to follow, but something apart from the norm. Love is maybe a warm feeling that permeates from within. Maybe it's not knowing where they start or where you begin. Love is maybe a set of coincidences that somehow fall into step, or a connection that has not even happened yet. Love is maybe insanity that grows into the only rational state of being. Love is maybe not always getting along and on everything agreeing. One thing for sure that I can now here agree, that your love in its present state is all I'll ever fucking need.
Right.
Oh, it's for Luke. Oh, thanks.
That's a lovely piece.
I've read it out all right for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that we both have a pot noodle reference.
I was about to say the pot noodle thing.
Can I just say, right, me and my husband wrote our vows, and in them I said that I would never force him to eat meat-flavoured crisps or a pot noodle. Now that man is obsessed by those two things. He loves a good chicken flavour crisp.
Yeah.
And he loves a good pot noodle.
Wow.
So it's 16 years of marriage.
The power of poetry as well.
The power of poetry.
It was a little bit cheeky.
Yeah, not cuts.
Yeah, vaginal.
Vaginal. Yeah, I did. The moment I said that word, I was
You
like,
put
have I
the
said it right?
F-bomb in near the
I
end.
did. I thought I'd better put an F-bomb in there. Just, because I feel like your granny that you just wheeled in towards the end.
Do you ever do that if you're like on a high with a performance and you feel the crowd is like, so then you edit live and you chuck in some... Oh, I do.
100%.
Yeah.
And sometimes I am really in the moment and I can't help myself from saying an F-bomb or another swear word. Yeah. Little Gideon loved it when I did that.
Well, look, if you've listened to that and you thought you've got a piece you'd like to write about someone you care about, a partner maybe, a family member, someone you just quite fancy who walks past the house outside, rather than put yourself in an uncomfortable situation by sharing it with them, why not write something and share it with us?
Yeah,
we can put it on the next series of We the Poets.
Can you imagine if we get to fill in the Arts Council evaluation at the end that we've match made because of this podcast?
Guys, we want our first We the Poets, either civil partnership or wedding. Come on, make it happen. That's what we want.
So why don't we say this? If you listen to this right now, we are going to be looking for submissions for next series before March, I think is when we're going to start recording next in 2025. But any pieces about other people, right? A poem maybe about another person in your life that matters in some way or has had an impact on you. It can be someone older, someone younger, someone you've never even got to see, but somebody who's had an impact on you, a poem about them. Send it over to us in audio format as a WAV file. Just giving Chris a look there to make sure.
WAV.
Yeah, as a WAV file. Send it over to mark@wethepoets.com. When we record our first episode, we will open the inbox and we will try playing a couple of pieces.
It'll be like double Christmas.
Send that over. We'd love to hear from it. Right, let's have another piece that got sent in.
Oh, it is Christmas, so I'll jump in on this one. This is a piece sent in by Laura Gravel.
My name is Laura Gravel, and this poem is called The Simple Days. Over the ragged spruce forests, the curving breasts of meadows, the bulbous granite outcrops, into the yellow-eyed mustard fields, drift the flakes of quiet, my love. And the sky is the color of clouds. There is silence underfoot. The air grows hazy as the roads close their veins on the journey up the mountain, my love. Each remaining year of our lives, each autumn turned on its back, each time to surrender will paint the scene white, my love. The details will dim, the snow cover pull over our bed as the simple days arrive with our acceptance, my love.
Thank you so much to Laura Gravel for that piece. Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, we've had such variety.
Yeah.
Different pace. You need that as well. I mean, it's just like, any good sex session.
Well, it raised the tone a bit as well, I think.
Raised the tone a little bit and, just had your little break. Like, you might have been looking to each other's eyes at that moment.
What did
that
you call
kind
it
of
earlier,
thing.
Mark? A palate cleanser.
Palate cleanser.
Yeah. I think, I don't know if that's like, I would want my poems described as palate cleansing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's the thing that...
An aperitif.
Yeah. But no, I thought it was a lovely piece and we're really pleased to share it.
Thank you.
And we've only got one more piece left to share.
Yeah, but we know it's a good one.
It is a good one because it's our fellow We the Poets host, Leanne Moden. So yeah, just to say, like, it's so nice sometimes. Have you found this fun? Just hearing pieces that are a little bit cheekier.
Yes, 100%.
I think sometimes we have to, when we're gigging, I think so often we have to do things for the audience. And sometimes I think when it's a really cheeky poem, you feel that the poet is going, I don't care about the audience right now. I'm not allowing the audience to affect my writing at all or make me say things. I'm just going to say what I want to say at this point. There's something I find really nourishing and fun about hearing someone just go in and write something that they know some people will not like.
Yes, yeah. And I think you can tell when especially if it's like a slam format or like a really conventional open mic format, you can tell when someone's written something because they think they're going to win for it.
Okay, yeah,
or they're
yeah.
entering a competition for it. So that lack of 100% authenticity. But then when, like you say, someone comes up and just does their own shit and just smashes it, you feel that authentic connection with them.
Yes.
Also, my lovely drama teacher, Mr. Hewitt, big shout out, Mr. Hewitt, Glinton Massive, he used to say, like, swearing is a form of expression. And I kind of believe that we need to see all of these different things, don't we, and experience all of these different things. Some of it we won't like, and that's fine.
Exactly.
I think it's really good to have at least one or two pieces in your repertoire.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like that is not for an audience, but is for you.
Yeah.
And I think it's not a bad way of diving into that by thinking what could be too much for some people to hear, right? Or what could be pushing that. So yeah, hopefully if you've got any desire from this to go away and write something that fits that remit, I promise you we will be so happy. We'll feel our work has been done.
So we want a couple of things, and we want a marriage proposal.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pot noodles, apparently. We want a lot of pot noodles.
Sponsorship for pot noodle.
Oh, yeah. Yes, I do. Only spicy curry flavour, though.
Bombay bad boy.
Bombay bad boy.
In the meantime, let's have our final piece. This is Leanne Moden with her great poem, Shaving Grace.
Shaving Grace. You've asked me 6 times now. I assure you I'm certain. I will not wax the hair off my fuzzy love curtain. While you might enjoy the plucked chicken look, I'd rather not get razor rash on my intimate nook. I like my crotch blossom, and no matter what you say, my short and curlies will not outlive their stay. My map of Tasmania will not be deforested, and if you come near me with imac, I'll have you arrested. What's wrong with you? Have you only seen women in porn? This is one meaty pocket that will not be shorn. Your resistance on this issue leaves very little scope for me, so I'll just flatly refuse to indulge in any pubic topiary. No landing strip or Brazilian My Lady garden unweeded. I might even get hair extensions if my words are not heeded. If we can't reach a compromise, then our sex life can't be saved. And by compromise I mean I'm not getting shaved.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Yeah.
We love you, Leanne. We love
Mega.
you.
Yeah.
Not had that poem in so long.
It's been so great running this project this year. If you've joined us for this listening, thank you so much. And if you come along to one of the workshops we've been running with Leanne overseeing those, that's been amazing as well. For the record, I think she has done such a great job overseeing those. And if you are an arts organisation looking for someone to oversee workshops, Leanne Moden is a great person to
Who's
get
that
hold of.
again? Leanne Moden.
Leanne Moden. Who's that? Who's that Leanne Moden? She's so hot right now. That didn't mean it like that. She's crushing it right now. There we go.
Well, they are crushing it.
Smashing it.
I just want to say thank you to Mark
Yes.
for having us along. It's been really fascinating and exciting, and I'm really excited to see what happens next and who we interview next. It's going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be good. And hopefully we'll be able to pop out maybe next year as well in the summer, go and do a few gigs and stuff maybe. For now, I think all we need to do is we need to say thank you so much to Chris Barn at Backland Studios, who makes us sound way more professional than we deserve.
Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
Thank you so much to all the guests that we've had on this series. If you haven't listened to any of those episodes, I really recommend you do. Every single guest gave us so much of their time and their expertise and their thoughts, and we really appreciate it. Thanks so much for everyone who's listened. Thank you to Leanne for being with us as a host and overseeing the workshop. Thank you so much to Charley and to Keely, and thank you to Arts Council England for funding this project with public funding. My name is Mark Grist. This was We the Poets, and we'll see you next year.
Yeah, baby!
Wait.